on tonight. And I'm just so excited to hear these tips. Like, these people have been crushing it. I'm over here just trying to learn a few things. And I'm excited for you guys to learn as well. So drop a 1 if you are hyped to just get started. Get your pens and papers ready. And I'm going to have each of them kind of introduce themselves and share their story. So Casey, I'm going to start with you. And you can kind of share a little bit about your story, and then we will come back for tips.
Awesome. Hey guys. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Casey Morgan. I'm so excited for this. Oh my God. So I actually got started in the industry with It Works actually 5 years ago, and it was amazing. I created success. I went diamond and I had a blast. Well, about a year ago, some personal things happened in my life where I, you know, I thought, leaving and doing something else was what I needed. And so I left. And over the past year after leaving, it wasn't it was not It Worked. It's that it did not create the happiness that I thought that I needed. And the whole time I was like, I miss being home. I miss the excitement from It Works. And I was building another business, and it just wasn't doing what I needed for myself that I thought it was going to do for myself. And so literally 2 months ago, I messaged Tay and I was like, so I have questions. And so I pretty sure I got on the phone with her and I just asked questions about like what was going on, what was new. And I think I joined like 4 days later, I'm pretty sure. So I joined like, I don't know, less than 2 months ago. And it's been amazing. Went executive in 7 days, Ruby in like 2 weeks, Emerald in 37 days. Like, it's been a freaking roller coaster. It's been amazing. And it's validated everything that I knew I needed. So yeah.
I love it. It's so cool. And I think sometimes that it's like the old saying, the cliche thing. It's like you don't know what you have until it's gone. And like I think some of us that, I mean, I started being in this industry with It Works. Like, I've never done it in another company. And it's almost like we don't really know how good it is until we realize how, like, it's not it's not, I want to say how bad other things how bad other things are, but like just how it's just very different. The culture is really what we can sometimes take for granted if we're not aware of other things. Like, I've never one time heard anybody who's come from any other company or done another company and then come back or anything like that just be like, yeah, the culture was just way better over there. I've literally never heard one person say that. They're always like, the training's better here, the people, like, and so, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think that it's good for every person to hear your story, because sometimes we can just forget what we have our hands on. We can
100%.
forget how special it is, what we're doing. So I appreciate you just being vulnerable and sharing that. You did it with such grace too. So Janae, I'm going to move to you. I'll come back to you, Casey. And I want you to kind of introduce yourself and how you got started, how you found the business, all that stuff. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. So I'm Janae Matson. I'm 21. I've kind of grown up in the network marketing world. Like, my dad has done network marketing my entire life basically. But I cannot work with him. Like, I tried. He was trying to ask me to get my friends to call him, and it just was not working for me. And so I was like, no, I'm good. And I'd been following Taylor for a while because of giveaways. And I decided to text her after following her for 6 months. And I was like, what you do looks really cool. And I was just curious, and I was going through a rough time in my life, and I needed something to focus all my energy on because my personal life was a mess. And I was under a lot of pressure, and I was about to drop out of school with nothing to fall back on. So I was really looking for something that I could do. And I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but I always thought, I'm not a mom yet, but in the future, I always thought that it was a far-fetched idea because a lot of people can't do that now. Like, jobs aren't as reliable as they were. And so this really appealed to me. And Taylor's very good at what she does. So I was hooked. And honestly, all I've been doing so far is just following directions. I'm very, very detailed, so I like to do everything perfectly. And so I'm always texting Casey, I'm always texting Taylor like every single day, trying to figure out what I need to be doing and trying to learn to do that to my team as well. But it's a
I love
process.
it. I love it. That's so cool. It's so cool that you have such like belief in the business and just seeing like your dad do it and knowing that it works. That's such like a cool perspective to have. So I'm excited to hear more from you. Okay, Kayla, where are you? Go ahead and unmute yourself and kind of share a little bit about how you got started and your journey so far.
Hi guys. Okay, so I'm Kayla Hilder. I started this August. It had been a year, so I started a little over a year ago. And I didn't know anything about network marketing, nothing like that. I just followed Alyssa, and I followed her for a good over a year. It was probably a couple months over a year, and she was just super good. Always reached out to me, stuff like that, and I just always kept seeing her posts and stuff like that. And I was working at the time, and then I was pregnant with my first son. And so, of course, I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I was like, okay, well, there's got to be something else out there. But I just wasn't ready. So then I actually didn't start until I had my second son. And right after him, he was I think he was 2 months old. He was 2 months old, and Alyssa came to me again and was like, girl, you have to do this. And I was like, okay, you know what? What do I have to lose? I have 2 kids. I don't want to go back to work. If all of these people that I see can do it, why can't I do it, And so I finally jumped on, started. I started out okay. I was signing a couple customers here and there and stuff like that. And then I kind of just fell off. I used every excuse in the book. I'm tired. I'm too busy. I have 2 kids. I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. So that was from all the way from probably October of last year until April of this year. And in April of this year, I was like, okay, what am I doing? I have this business and I post every once in a while, and people probably see my post and they're like, okay, what is she doing? She posts one day and then doesn't post for 5 days. And then, so then I was like, you know what? I can do this. I gotta do this. I have 2 kids already. I'm staying at home currently, but if I want to continue to stay at home, this has to work for me. So finally I said that in April. In May, I went Ruby. 2 weeks later, I went Emerald. And then I actually just hit Diamond this last month. And so it was super exciting. So yeah, that's kind of just my story. I'm at Diamond now, and I'm just pushing hard now, just every month.
I love it. I love it so much. And the cool thing, you guys, and I hope you guys are seeing this, with all of them, is their stories are so different. They come from all different backgrounds. We have a mom of 2. We have a dude who was just killing it, right? Did the business went somewhere else, came back, right? Then we have a girl who's 21. You can literally make every excuse or make no excuses. And the thing that all 3 of these people have in common is they just decided, I'm not going to make excuses. It doesn't mean that they couldn't, it just means that they haven't. Right. I was talking to somebody earlier today and I was saying, I'm really good at making whatever I want to do really reasonable, making in my brain sound really reasonable. Oh, let me just pop open a margarita at 12 o'clock. Sometimes I want to do that, but and I could make it justifiable to myself a lot of the time. But is that good for me? No. Is that serving who I want to become? No. And so I love all of your guys' stories. So Casey, I'm going to start with you. What would your number 1 enrollment tip right now be? What's working for you right now? And what's something that you kind of preach to your team?
This is cliche, but host to post 100%. I owe host to post all my promotions in the last less than 2 months, whatever. What I did to go executive was the same thing I did to go Emerald. I just did more of it every single day. Host to post, posting on my page about me using the products, posting on my story, including polls and questions, being interactive and engaging with other people. You have to be present on social media if you're going to build a business on social media. And I knew that coming in, and I knew host to post is what everyone else was killing it with. So I was like, give me all the host to post goodies, and I'm just going to go ham. And literally I went ham every day, probably 50 new people I would talk to having statuses up. I probably have 10 to 15 on average every single day. And that's literally what brought in almost every bit of volume for my annual promotion, 100%.
I love that. And one of the things that I want to add too is when we first get started doing something, it's it's like we can feel a little bit overwhelmed because we don't know. Like we haven't done it before, we don't know. And then we hear all these people doing more of it and we're like, gosh, I could never do what they do. But what we forget to calculate is that we get better at it and we get more efficient at it, right? Like when I first started doing host posts, it took me forever. My organizational system was horrible. Like I had no clue like what I was doing. I was just like, and it took me a long time. But now it's like I could do it in my sleep. And so even though I do more of it now, and I'm sure you're the same way, if you can kind of speak to that, because it's like I was doing more of it, but you also got better at it. So it wasn't necessarily like double the time. It was I'm getting more efficient so I can do more. Almost at the same amount of time, probably a little bit more.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like even now I'm not super organized with it. Like there's days where I'm like, oh my God, I just missed a status. Oh my gosh, there's like 12 comments I haven't got to. So there is a little unorganization to it, but I'm that kind of person. I like organized chaos. Like I function really well in that for some reason, and I have been my whole life. But I have gotten much better about sending out messages and not replying until I'm done sending out messages, and then going to into replying. And it keeps things flowing better, and it keeps me out of Facebook jail, which I was in twice last month. So be careful. You can get into Facebook. I think it was like 2 days before my annual promotion, and I was in Facebook jail, and I was like, this is not going to happen right now. So literally, I was just like, in that time, I messaged my team. I was like, hey, let's get some host posts up. Let's get some volume moving. So I was literally with my team. Since I couldn't host a post, I had my team. I was like, let's work. Let's get some host posts up. And they were grinding and they were getting their customers. They were getting their shopping sprees. And it just, as a team, we all just hit it together because of that. But yeah, I think honestly, the more you do it, the better you get. So don't feel overwhelmed. Just dive in and ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Okay, Janae, what has been working for you? Is it host a post? Is it similar to what Casey said, or is it something that like, is there any other tips that you would give people who are just kind of getting started?
Yeah, like I said, I basically just asked a ton of questions and I was recommended to do host to post. So that's what I did. I just have made that my priority and I've definitely gotten blocked and put in Facebook jail 2-3 times. I don't know. It was pretty annoying, but got through it and just kept going. And you just gotta keep messaging people. Like I've had already tons of people like message me how horrible MLMs are or whatever, but you know, there's always negative people everywhere. You kind of just gotta ignore them and move on. But it's refreshing when you find the positive people who are like, I just had someone try to recruit me for their business. Casey knows about that. she's she's like, you're doing amazing. Join ours. I'm like, no, that's okay. But you can come over here. So I don't know. Just basically, I'm trying to create relationships with people as well. Like, it's not just like, here, buy my product. Here, try this. Here, try that. Like, I'm trying to connect with them emotionally as well. Like, I've had a lot of people confide in me, like things I didn't even ask, but they told me anyway, like miscarriages and health issues and all this stuff. And like, I'm a little bit awkward comforting people, but it's helping me grow as a person as well. So it's just, yeah, it's important to grow relationships as well, I think, because I've had people be rude to me, like tell me, I'm not going to buy your product and track results. If you want to buy it for me, sure. And I'm like, oh, like, okay, well, have a great day. And she felt like crap after that. Like she messaged me and she was like, I'm sorry, I just lost my job and like I'm not doing good. And like, I don't know. She said she'll order from me later on when she gets her job and maybe she'll join the business. Who knows? So yeah.
Yep. Yep. I love that. And I think that it's so true. I always have like 3 rules when it comes to like other people. Is number 1, you're never going to get criticized by somebody who's doing more than you. Only people who criticize you are the people who are doing less, right? The second thing is other people's opinions don't pay your bills. Obviously, we all know that. And then the third thing is don't take advice from somebody you don't want to trade places with. I am not going to take, and I always use marriage as an example, I'm not going to take marriage advice from somebody who's been divorced 6 times. Like, it's just not happening. I'm not going to take financial advice from somebody who's broke. I'm not going to take business advice from somebody who's never owned a business. And so I think that we all kind of have to remember those things, because we forget that we think that just because people love us, that they know what's best for us. And it's not always the case, because sometimes we get criticized by the people who are close to us, right? The people that we know love us. Like, but just because they love us doesn't mean they know what's best for us. Right. And I think that as we continue to move forward, as all of us, grow, like I still like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe some of the comments I have on TikTok or like whatever. And I'm like, y'all y'all are crazy, like I feel really bad for people, but like before it would have bothered me. And so it is kind of a skill you have to learn, like to get tough skin. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not like it doesn't bother people, but what you do is you realize, what am I focusing on? Because I can choose to focus on these negative people, or I can choose to focus on all other 400 comments of people who are saying positive things, right? Because we'll get all these amazing comments of people who are supporting us, and then we'll get one negative comment and we forget about all the other positive ones. And it's like we have to choose and focus, like decide what are we focusing on. So I love that. I think that that's so awesome, Janae. And I think I want everybody to hear what she said though. And she said it when she was introducing herself, and she was like, I've just followed instructions. And I think that she's not giving herself enough credit. Number one, you're not giving yourself enough credit, because if it was that simple, I feel like more people would do it. But I think that there is a level of trust that has to be there with your upline. And I think that if you don't have that, if you're new here and you're like, okay, I'm struggling, and your upline has asked you to do something, or Kelsey, 8 out of 10 people who join me do not follow instructions. But I think that if that's something you feel like that doesn't happen, like if you're like, I know that my upline's giving me instructions and I just haven't followed them, go back to them and be like, hey, I want to start over. I want to do over. I know, like, I was just really nervous, because a lot of times, drop a 1 if you were nervous to do what your upline told you to do. You were like, what? What do you mean I have to do that? That's not what I signed up for. What? No, I don't want to know. Message people? No. But it's like, I think we all have to get out of our own way. And we all have to realize success leaves clues. And we need to say, if this person is telling me to do it, it's for a reason, right? Because we all get paid to help each other win, not to help each other lose. So know that every single person on this Zoom is for you. They are for you. They're not against you. So whatever they would tell you to do, it's for a reason. Okay, Kayla, I'm going to come to you. What is like one of your biggest tips in building the diamond? It's so exciting.
So for me, it's definitely host to post. Host to post and follow-ups is where I get like 90, probably 95% of my customers.
Wait, so you mean people don't just like flock to you? They're not just like messaging you like, please sign me up. Like, I'm waiting for you to sign me up. Like, oh, when you make a post, not everybody's like ready to enroll the first post you make about Skinny Brew?
No, I actually have like quite a few people that follow me. Like they say like some distributors, like have to follow you for months, years, whatever it is to want to join. I feel like I have a lot of customers that are like that. I have a lot of customers that follow me for a couple months, and I feel like they have to see like my posts and stuff like that, and then other people commenting on my posts and being like, either this is working for me, or okay, I'm ready to try this, or something along that lines. And then those people are finally like, okay, I need to try this. Like if these people are trying it and it's working, or if I post my own results, like when I do, and people are like, okay, she has these results, if they're working for her, like, I need to try it. Why can't it work for me? So I do host to post. I mean, all day, every day, but that's where I get most of my customers. Follow-ups are really good. I love follow-ups because there's people that I've had people that I've like not follow up with and forgot about, and then been like, oh shoot, and then followed up with them like a month later, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm ready. Like, let's sign me up right now. So follow-ups I love, host to post I love. I mean, that's basically what I try when I get a distributor. That's almost like the first thing I try to train them about is host to post, just because I feel like it's such a big game changer for your business. And so, yeah, I mean, that's where it's at for me. And I was super nervous in the beginning, like when people were like, okay, you got to do host post. I was like, I'm not doing that. I am not messaging people and asking them to put up a post for me. It made me feel super uncomfortable. Like, I did not like it. I don't like cold messaging, nothing like that. But nowadays, like, I get some new friends and I let them follow me for a couple days. And then I message them and I'm like, hey, you want to put up a host to post for me? And if they don't, they don't. And they'll just keep following me. I have some people that follow me for a little bit and they'll comment on all my posts and I'll message them like 4 or 5 times. And finally, like the 5th time, they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll put up a host post for you. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know? So yeah, that's kind of where it's at for me.
I love that. Okay, a couple things I want to point out. Number one, do you notice that Kayla is still on here and you guys can all hear her kids in the background, right? How many of you, drop a 2, would not have hopped on a Zoom and talked on the Zoom where you felt like, oh, my environment has to be perfect. My kids need to be asleep. I need to be out in like my office setting. Drop a 2 if you would have not gotten on this Zoom, if you would have let something like that stop you. I want you to recognize that she did not, because you have to work this business in chaos. And life happens. Okay. Chaos is part of life. And so you have to learn that after, like, there is no such thing. And I say this almost every Zoom, I feel like that, like, for a while, I literally thought, especially when I came home and started doing this business full time, I thought there has to be this perfect moment where I'm sitting at my office for me to work this business. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Like, you know, I was making 5 figures a month before I even had an office or a printer. I'm gonna say that again. I was making 5 figures a month before I even had an office or a printer. I did not have a printer. I drew my charts. Okay. Or I would go to like FedEx and print them. Okay. And so I think that what we have to realize is you just have to have a get it done mentality. The second thing I want to point out, because the applaud to you, Kayla, for just like continuing. She's like not even distracted. She's just like, yeah, this is what I do. Okay, so the second thing I want to point out is that she said, I love follow-ups. She didn't say like, yeah, I do follow-ups. Like, I know they're annoying, but like I just still do them anyways. She said, I love follow-ups. Do you want to know why? Because she gets results from it. Right? You have to crave the results so badly that the process doesn't matter. And I think that when you hear her say that, it made me be like, dang, I don't love follow-ups. I need to change my attitude and maybe I'll start loving follow-ups, right? Because if we all had that attitude, how different do you think the results would be? I'm going to tell you they'd be vastly different. If we all said, I love doing follow-ups. I love follow-ups. Like, follow-ups are such a good way for me to reconnect with all the people that I forgot about when I was mid-conversation. Right? Drop a 3 if you're going to change your attitude. We just need to call this Zoom. I love follow-ups. I love follow-ups. I love follow-ups. I love host to post. I love the chaos that comes with host to post, because like Casey said, he doesn't have a great organization system. And you know what? I don't either, but it works for me. And if it doesn't, guess what I do? Just go back through my messages. I just go back through my messages. There's always a track record. That's the beautiful thing about it, right? There's always a track record. So you don't have to have the perfect organization system. You don't have to have the perfect time to work the business. You don't have to have the perfect environment to work the business. You just get it done. Okay, Casey, let's talk about what's one thing you had to learn about like growing a team and like how to communicate with a team, because I think that that's like, it's one thing to do the work yourself. It's another thing to inspire other people to see the potential that they have.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So the biggest thing for me was, I mean, becoming a leader is definitely something you have to learn. Like, it's something that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen in time as you just go through the process. But I think the biggest thing for me was probably handling people's emotions, like being able to connect with them as a person, but also bring the business in without making them mad, like finding the balance of them being human, but also being a business in between. Like me finding that balance was the hardest thing for me because I didn't want to make anybody mad. That's the yellow in me. I didn't want to upset anybody, but I also, let's go. Like I also want to like just pour into them and like kick their butt. Like let's get things moving without upsetting them. So that was my biggest struggle, and that's the biggest thing that I've had to learn over the last 5 years. I mean, still learning.
Yeah. And what advice have you told yourself, or what have you seen that's worked with that? Like how did you kind of navigate that piece of it? Is it just taking it case by case? Is it developing more patience? Is it like, what is something that you've kind of had to grow?
Oh, for sure. The patience. When I first started, my patience, I didn't know what patience was. I literally didn't know. So I had to literally become patient with people because I was the person who was snippy. Like, why aren't you texting me back? What's going on? I know you're not, I see you on Snapchat. Like I was literally the one.
You're like the crazy boyfriend.
Yeah. I was coming at people like, I know you see my message. Why are you ignoring me? So I had to realize I need to breathe. They have a life outside of anything I'm talking about. They have a life outside of this business. And I had to like realize that. And once I put that into perspective and thought about what if it was me? What would I want from somebody leading me? What if they came at me like that? Would I be okay? And if the answer was no, I would not approach it that way. And I think just kind of like literally understanding that we are all human beings, we are all people, and we all have lives. I think that helped me a lot, especially getting to know people. Like when I bring people in, I always get to know them on a personal level, like what they do, what their job is, are they in school, what their days look like, what their weeks look like. Like I just like to know when their time is to breathe, because then that's when we can chit chat. That's when we can talk, whether it's about business or whatever. And I think that's helped a lot. Even coming in the second time, like first time, that was all learning. Coming in this time, knowing all those things has been so much. I think it's helped me a lot, honestly, promote faster because I've been at peace with everybody on my team and understanding that they are people and communicating with them and knowing how to push them without pushing them, if that makes sense.
I love that. And I think it's really catering to them instead of having them cater to you.
Yep.
And what that means is that you're being respectful of what their environment is.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's not a good time for you to talk, like let me be flexible for when works for you, instead of being like, no, well this is when we're going to talk. This is when we said we're going to talk, and this is what we're going to do. And I totally relate to that. I definitely was like that before. And I think one thing that I think is super important to point out is realizing that the first time around it could have a lot of been fear of people losing, like of losing people, of them like quitting, of them not wanting to do it anymore. And so you're like trying to save them and holding on to them so tight that it's like almost suffocating. And I think that happens a lot of times because I know the first person that I had quit, it was like, oh my gosh, now everybody's going to quit and everybody's going to quit. And then I would start trying to hold on really tight to the people that were there. And it really ended up pushing them away more.
Yep.
And so being able to have faith and believe in the people that you have and focusing on those people instead of focusing on the people who have walked away, who are walking away, who are going to walk away, and saying, if I continue to focus on those people and let those people affect the way that I lead these people, I'm doing a disservice to everybody. And so I love that. And I think that just that recognition of like, I had to treat them as humans instead of, people that I had to manage.
Yep.
So I love that. So good. Okay, Janae, tell me how it's been being 21, feeling like, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to be brave enough to lead people. How has that adjustment been? And like, I know that it can be scary, but talk about like your thought process and how you've kind of stepped into that. Cause I know obviously all of us on here still get nervous. We still feel somewhat unqualified. We still feel like, oh gosh, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm capable of this. So how did you kind of like combat those fears?
Well, I mean, it has been an adjustment because like most of the people underneath me are older than me. So like it's an adjustment trying to encourage them. And at the same time, I'm still figuring out what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to relate to them and have patience and try to be encouraging as I can. Cause like I I'm not expecting everyone to be as motivated as I am, because a lot of people who are under me, they're mainly just wanting like little extra income. Like I'm wanting this to be my career. So like I'm really putting everything into this that I possibly can. And so I'm just trying to be as motivating as possible to everyone else. And it is hard. Like I have one girl that joined and she hasn't talked to me in 4 or 5 days and hasn't even read it. I don't know, maybe she lost her phone. I don't know. But it's a little bit of a struggle. I'm just kind of hoping for the best, and I'm just trying to keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully I can learn to be a little bit more helpful. It's definitely a learning process for everyone. That's why I told them, I'm like, I'm new here too. So like I'm going to do the best I can, but feel free to message each other, message Casey, Taylor, everyone. Like, don't feel bad if you don't want to ask me or whatever, because I definitely don't know everything, but I try to do the best I can. When I don't know something, I'm like, Casey, Taylor, help me. Like, you just gotta ask for help, and that's what I tell them to do. That's what I do, and it's the only way I've gotten this far.
I love that. And I think that that's like, I love the humility in that. And I think that no matter how long you've been in the business, you can relate to what she said. Because there's times when I message Erin, I'm like, can you help me? Like I don't know. And it's not even necessarily that somebody else might have the right answer, but maybe they can help shift the perspective. Maybe they can help see it a different way. Maybe they can help with what somebody is saying, like as far as like, maybe they didn't mean it that way. Maybe they meant it this way. And I think that never being scared to ask questions is almost, I would put it in like top 3 things to for people to be successful. Because I'm going to tell you that there is a direct correlation between how much somebody who signs up with me talks to me and how much money they make. There's a direct correlation. And so it's all not, and it has nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with staying close to the fire, with them staying close enough to if you don't know, if you went through your whole day today in this business and worked this business and didn't get asked a question that you weren't sure of, you didn't do enough. You just didn't do enough. You should always be learning. So the things that I do now are actually the core is the same, but like TikTok wasn't a thing when I joined. Instagram wasn't really a thing when I joined. Facebook Live, Instagram Live weren't a thing. Wordboard wasn't a thing. There's all these things that I've had to pivot and adjust, and every single season of your business will have something like that. Yeah, we couldn't even copy and paste on face. You guys have no idea the struggle of that. Okay, I remember being at work and literally having 2 screens up and emailing myself trying to copy somebody else's post because you couldn't copy and paste. You couldn't even highlight. You couldn't do any of it. Oh Lord, it was hard. Okay, so but anyways, it forced that stuff. Like if it allows you to grow, and so whatever you're going through now, if you feel like I'm not good at signing DTs, it's not something that you're not good at. It's just an area for you to get better at. Right. And I think if we can just shift that perspective, then so much can change for us and so much can grow, and just be like Janae. Like I'm still like Janae. I'm like, I don't have all the answers. If you want to go ask somebody else, feel free. Like I'm still trying to figure a lot of it out. And I've been in the business 5 years. Because the moment you think you have it all figured out is the moment your business stops growing. And so I applaud you for just like being so humble. I love that so much. And just like being like, I don't expect everybody to be as motivated as me. And saying, I hope they are, and I'm going to cheer them on if they are. But if they're not, I'm still going to keep going. And I think that that's so awesome. Okay, Kayla, what has been the hardest part in an area where you have intentionally had to grow from like a leading other people standpoint?
So getting distributors in general like you said, I put myself in that spot where like I can't sign them. Like I can only sign customers, I can't sign distributors. And so I was kind of like in that mindset. So I wasn't signing them. I was only, even back in May when I went Ruby and Emerald, I went Ruby and Emerald because I signed up my whole entire family and worked everyone's business because I just was like, I'm doing it. I'm just doing it on my own and that's how it's going to be. And we'll see what happens basically. So then I actually didn't even sign like my first couple real distributors that started working until August. So I signed a couple in August and a couple last month. And these ones are finally working. So I'm still kind of like honestly getting in the groove of like trying to like basically help my distributors and get them to where they need to be. But basically I just use like what works for me. So like what's been working for me is kind of like what I rub off and try to tell them, okay, like this is working for me. This is helping my business. Like I think if you did this, this, and this, I think you would be successful and it would really help your business. So I still am like trying to like figure all of that out. But I feel like, yeah, like with host to post, that's what I get a lot of my distributors to do. And I think that's what helps. And then putting them in all the group chats, I think that really helps too, because then they're not just like having to like see me and ask me questions. They can see like what everybody else is talking about and what everybody else is doing. And so I feel like that helps a lot of my distributors. A lot of my girls are like in these group chats and then we have our own group chat and they come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, this was like so helpful. Or if like I'm not around or something, they're like, oh my gosh, I got the answers that I needed from this chat or from this chat or something like that. So I feel like that really helps me, is all the group chats. And then I actually had a call with Alyssa the other day and she was telling me that the friendship part is what's really going to help. Like if you can build these great relationships and friendships with these people, it's going to be so much more beneficial for you than if you're only talking about the business all the time. Like who only wants to talk about, I mean, obviously that's what we're here for and that's, we're trying to get successful and move up and stuff like that, but who just wants to talk about the business like all day, every day, you know, like nobody wants to do that. So that's what I've been trying to do too, is like build that relationship, build that friendship with these people so that they can come to me and be like, okay, I just wanted to talk today about like, I just needed some advice on something other than the business. And then they can come to me another day and we can talk strictly about the business and answer all the questions that they have. Like the other day, I think it was Friday. Friday, I actually there's a girl on my team who signed up and we live in the same town. And we decided that we were going to get together because she has a little girl. I have 2 little boys. And so we got together and we didn't talk about the business. We just hung out and we just like got to know each other, bonded, and it was amazing. So I feel like the friendships and the bonding and the getting to know people along with the business is really going to help you and your team basically.
For sure. I love that so much. And I couldn't agree more, because not only is it like good just to do that, like, because it helps, people and just it will help your leadership, but also it's good to do that because it allows you to just have more fun. Like I love all, like, my best friends are the people on this in this business. These are my people. Like it's not like I'm like, oh well, these are just like these are my best friends that like we work together. And we Alexis put it in the chat. She said, you need to create the environment that you would want to work in. It's like, that's so true. Like, would you want to work in a situation where it's all stuffy and nobody can talk about anything? No. And obviously there's boundaries and you don't want to just be like putting all your dirty stuff in like the group chats and all of that. But there is like a way to just connect with people. And what connection does is it allows a level of trust to be there, that this person is for me, that this person is really going to, they want what's best for me and they're going to give me real advice, and they're doing it because they know like they care about me. And I think that having that is so crucial because, you're going to end up being friends and being able to say, like, we're not just even talking about the business, we're talking about a marriage, we're talking about kids, we're talking about advice on different parts, and you're going to learn from them and they're going to learn from you. And it doesn't always have to be such like a, oh, well, I'm like this quote unquote leader, so I have to have like everything perfect all the time in front of my team. Like it should be, there are real moments, there are real like vulnerabilities, and just saying like, hey, like I've been through that before. I know what that's like. And so many people don't have authentic friendships. So many people outside of this business before they hop in, I remember feeling this way. People really can't be that nice. Like this, I don't know if people are really that nice. There's like an ulterior motive or something. Like I don't know. This person is, like when you think people are so nice, like it's fake. Like where you have, if you've done that before, drop a one. Where you're just like, this person can't really be this nice. They're just like really fake. I've definitely thought that about majority of people in this business, and I think that when you start to open up your heart and you start to realize that these people are genuine and the friendships are real, you realize, dang, I've been missing out on some really awesome friendships. I've been missing out on people who are forcing me to level up, who are forcing me to, and are going to say stuff like when I'm not doing things that are helping me become the best me, and they're going to kind of call me out and they're going to kind of help me to get better. And I think that as if you guys can realize, even if you're new and you have somebody join and you feel like so overwhelmed because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just joined and I just have somebody else who's on my team now. Like, if you can just be friends with them and just say, hey, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like overwhelmed? I remember being so scared to even ask people how they were feeling when I first started because I didn't want them to tell me anything negative. I would only ask if I knew the answer was positive. Only when like I knew things were awesome, I'd be like, how are you feeling? And they'd be like, great. And I'm like, yes. But then like if I knew the answer was going to be like, I'm actually really frustrated, I would avoid all that question. I would avoid the question. And I encourage you guys to realize that drop a 4 if you've ever felt frustrated drop a 4 if you've ever felt frustrated with the business. All of us on here. Every single person has felt frustrated. And so if a distributor, if you ask somebody and they're like, I feel a little bit frustrated, that shouldn't scare you. Thanks so much for being honest with me. You know what's funny is I was actually feeling that like a week ago. And this is how I overcame it. This is what I had to start doing. This is what helped me to overcome it. This is what helped me to get better at it. Right. So I think those things are super helpful when when somebody can confide in you like that, it's trust. And when you don't judge them for it, it's trust. All of it is a brick building the foundation of a friendship. So I love that. Such good advice. Okay, Casey, give me your best tip on signing distributors.
Okay, so I'm really good about posting. Like I always talk about the business. Like I'm always posting like really good pictures of me working the business on my phone or doing something and talking about the business. And I have an application I put in the comments, and I tell people to apply in the comments. That's one way. But the best way I've noticed this time around is through host to post. It's literally a message like saying, hey, thanks again for posting for me. I think Taylor sent it to me. I just want to offer this to you. If you're not interested, no biggie. And every single person I've messaged, I think I signed like 3 distributors just this month from that message. Everybody said yes. Everybody said, yeah, sure, send it over. And I'll literally get into conversation with them. And most of the time, I'm literally like, what you just did is what we get paid to do. Like what you just did for me is what we get paid to do. How easy was that? You got like 30 something comments, like let's make you some money off that. And it like just gets them excited. And that's really how I've been attracting distributors is through host to post.
That's so good. That's so good. And so once you ask that question, you just send them the info and then start going into the regular DT combo.
Yeah.
It's so good.
They tell me yeah. I ask them what they do, how often they're on social media. We get a little personal about their life and everything. And then I kind of just go into the DT conversation of this is what we do. This is how we get paid. It's so simple. It's so much fun. Like, is that something you'd be interested in? And every single person's like, heck yeah. And then we talk about the investment. It's literally a probably 6 to 7 message conversation.
You can go ahead and drop that in the team page so we can all have it. No, seriously, that's so good. It's so good. I feel like it's so simple and like somebody said, smooth. It's so smooth. Like, hey, just let me go ahead and just slide this right here. No, seriously. I love it. Yeah, you can definitely go ahead and post the combos in the team page. See Smooth. Oh my gosh, I'm done with y'all.
So
Um,
funny. Oh
so
my God.
no, but I think that's awesome. That's such a good tip. Okay, Janae, what is your best tip for signing DTs?
Honestly, that was really good, Casey. I'm gonna try that. But yeah, I found a few through Host to Post. I actually found like Sydney. She's one of my newer distributors. I found her on Instagram, and I haven't been working Instagram as much as Facebook, but here and there I try to. But yeah, and I actually got 4 texts from someone posting for me about the if you're interested in the business, text opportunity to my number. I got like 4 texts from that, just having someone, just I think it was from one person just posting that on their story. Like you will have 10 people post something for you and get nothing from it, but then there's always that one person that does, and then, oh, okay, well, hello. And I only got one person to sign up through that, and unfortunately that's the one who's ghosting me currently. But I mean, hey, it's something, and she still signed up. I'm still hoping for the best. And I mean, you never know. You just got to keep consistent. And Instagram, I actually used to use more, and then now I always am on Facebook. But I need to get back in Instagram because I've gotten 2 DTs from that so far, and that was pretty cool. And I got my cousin to join. She's on here. Shout out to Jamie.
Hi,
She's doing
Jamie.
really good. Yeah, she's doing really good. I'm ready to take her to the top with me. So
So
she's
awesome.
got twin boys.
That's so
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. And I think that what she said is so crucial for everybody. You could have 10 people post for you and get nothing, and one who does, and you get so many hits. And you guys, how many of you guys feel pressure every single time you have somebody message you, or somebody fill an application, or somebody start to say something, and they're interested in the business, and you're like, oh my God, I have to sign this person. How many of you drop a 5? I don't know what number we're on, so I'm just making up numbers. But drop a 5 because you're like, oh my God, this person has to sign. I have to sign this person because I don't know the next person who's gonna message me, and I really need to sign this person. But here's the thing, you guys, is it's all practice. It's all practice. Try it. Try voice messaging, see if it works. Try a new message, see if it works. You don't have to put all of this pressure on yourself because there's always going to be more people. You have to realize there's always going to be more people. There's like some crazy statistic of like every single day, like thousands of people turn 18. Okay. So like there's so many new people every single day, and there's so many people that you're going to come into contact with, you're going to impact, you're going to reach. And so don't feel like every conversation is going to be the last one. It's just a chance for you to see if it works. Did that work? Okay, let me keep doing that. Did that work? Nope. Okay, then let me try something else. I know there's so many things that if I think back to the times I was most successful, I literally am like, why don't I do that still? Like, why don't I voice message all the time? Because I love voice messaging and it always works. Okay. So like you have to look back on what's worked. I would encourage you, the last distributor you signed, to go back to the conversation and see what worked. See what you did. How did you sign that person? What happened? What did you do? What did you do differently? And if you've signed one person, you can sign 100. Just know that it's not this special power. It's not a special post. It's not a potion. Okay. It's literally just you being consistent. Okay, Kayla, what's your best tip on signing DTs? I know it's an area that you're getting so much better in.
Yeah. So actually the most of the DTs that I got in the last couple months are all from host to post, but not from a DT host to post, from a product host to post. And I'll be talking to them about the products, and they won't sign up for the products, and then they'll kind of watch me for a little bit, and I'll like offer the business, and then they'll kind of still be on the fence, like, oh, okay, I don't know. And then they were watching me for a little bit, and then they'll come back and be like, okay, I'm ready to sign up and do the business with you. So yeah, basically all the people that I've signed are from a product host to post, that I then brought in the business because they didn't know if they wanted to try products right then, or they like couldn't afford to try products. And then I'll bring in the whole, oh, okay, well, if you can't, like, you know, if you're not ready to try products because you can't afford it, something like that, then I'll bring in the business. Like, have you ever thought of bringing in an extra income and joining me and doing what I do? And then you can get a free product, $150 credit, try the products, join the business, make money. And then that's kind of how I went about it and got all of mine.
I love that. And she's the queen of follow-up. So she's just consistently asking. Guys, it's so good. Like, all she's doing is just asking. It's really so simple. Okay, Tay, I'm gonna call on you because I know you've been just doing awesome with DTs. Can you share a tip for signing DTs?
Hi, me. Did you say Tay?
Yeah, girl.
So,
She's like, did you say Tay?
did you say Tay or did you say K? I don't know. So I'm trying to think. So some of the distributors I've signed this month have been from host to post, product host to post that have been added to my market. They start watching me, they can't afford it, but then they keep watching me. And I've asked them to host a post about the business opportunity. So sometimes, like, if they're interested in products, can't afford it, I'll give them a host a post to do about the income opportunity, just to kind of like plant that seed in their brain. And then after they post for me, I'll say, you know, hey, have you ever thought about, you know, making money, like doing what I do? So some of them I've signed that way. Also just reaching out on Instagram. I know some of y'all are like, oh, I don't like the cold message, but before host to post was ever a thing, I'm a grandma. Okay. I've been in the business 5.5 years. Host to post wasn't a thing when I was going diamond. And so for me to go diamond, I had to manually message for customers and distributors, like cold message. Okay. And so every day I message probably 20 people on Instagram that I see really good potential in, and I just reach out to them. I compliment them. I say, hey, happy Monday. You know, I love your page. I love your energy. Have you ever thought about being an influencer on working from social media? I'd love to give you the details. If not, no biggie. I just plant the seed. Most people want to hear about it. They're like, yeah, girl, like, thanks for the compliment. Tell me more about it. And then boom, I've signed, I think 2 or 3 this month from Instagram just by planting that seed with people. And even doing that too, you know, they're going to be watching your story. They're going to be watching your page, especially if they're interested, they're going to be watching you, and then eventually they'll get started. But yeah, those are the ways that I've signed DTs this month.
I love it. So I'm going to give you guys a couple tips before we leave on what's really been working for me. And that is Reels and TikTok. If y'all aren't on, I don't know why. Y'all are literally flushing money down the toilet. I'm just going to be honest. Like, if you can send out a host to post message, you can get on an Instagram reel or a TikTok video and start pointing and write words with the music. Okay. Because it's not that hard. It's really not. It's the idea in your head is hard. It's not hard once you do it. You're making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. Okay. So I need to get out of your feelings. You'll need to get out of your head, because you want to know something. Inaction actually feeds your fear. So the longer you wait to do it, the more fearful you're going to become. Action starves your fear. So when you start getting into action, you're gonna be like, this actually isn't that bad. This is actually way easier than I thought. Okay. Like, get on TikTok, get on Instagram Reels. There are literally no reasons for you not to. I'm going to tell you, I literally spend, I like get ready once a day. I mean, once a day, but Lord Jesus, I did not get ready once a day. I get ready like once a week. Okay. And I take like an hour and I make probably 10 TikTok videos in an hour. Now I have to factor in time to get ready. Okay. Because of just, you know, girls, just, we have hair and we have makeup. Okay. But I just change shirts. All I do. It's like, I don't even know. I think I'm wearing like sweatpants. Okay. Like, and I'm wearing a sweater, like a nice sweater and like sweatpants. Okay. Because all I do is right here. And so what I'm telling you, this has helped every aspect of my business. And I just put all my videos that are from TikTok, I put them on my reels. Yep, exactly, Tay. And so I'm going to tell you, in the last 2 weeks, since I've been doing this, let me actually see when I posted my first reel. Hold on, hopefully it's not loud. I don't even know what day this was. It was about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Literally, my Instagram following has grown by 5,000. 5,000. I went from 14.9 thousand followers to 15.4 because all I'm doing is consistently, and I'm bringing content. I'm adding value, whether it's humor, whether it's business info, whether it's whatever. It's literally mind blowing that some of y'all aren't doing this. Does not take that much time. It's so simple. Just try it. If you have questions, reach out to your upline. Like it's there, you probably will have questions because it's a different thing. It's a different platform. It's not something that like it's a new feature, right? But just try it. Just put one up. See what happens. And you know what? It's not going to happen on the first time. I would highly suggest, this is honestly what I would suggest, is post 5 or 6 non-business videos first. Just like humor, funny mom videos, or like if you are single and you have like an ex, there's like so many funny ones. I really like, sometimes I'm like, can I just pretend that like this actually happened to me because it's so funny. So like you have like, there's so many different ones you can post, but do some ones that like just are funny, and then have people follow you, and then then start to implement, just like posting, sprinkle in the business posts, sprinkle in the business ones, okay? Sprinkle in products ones if you want. There's so many amazing leaders that have amazing TikToks. Go to their TikToks, save their videos, do the exact same thing they do, and you're gonna have a unique following based on that. So I promise it's worth your time. It's worth that. And just make sure that you're willing to try something new and go into it with a positive attitude. So I'm going to close this out in prayer. I'm so proud of you guys, Janae, Casey, and Kayla. Thank you guys for just sharing all these awesome tips. You guys are amazing. I can't wait to see you guys go diamond, double diamond. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. And I'm so proud of you guys. So dear Jesus, we just thank you so much. We thank you for Janae and Casey and Kayla. We thank you for just placing a dream in their heart and allowing it to just continue to grow. We thank you for their leadership. We thank you for blessing their business. And we ask that you continue to bless every single person who's on here, bless their business, bless their finances, bless every single thing that they are putting their hands to, Lord. We ask that you grow our character so that we can sustain the blessings that you have prepared for us, and that we can continue to grow so that we can achieve the blessings, that we can do the work, not just so that we can earn it, but so that we can further your kingdom, because we know that without you, none of this is possible. Without you, we wouldn't even want any of it to be possible. And so we thank you for who you are. We thank you for showing us how to live and just how to love people. I ask that you cleanse our hearts of any negative feelings towards anybody else or towards any opportunities that we've had. And I just ask that you help people see you through us, that our actions inspire other people to just be better people. And we thank you, Jesus. And we are so grateful for what you've done. And we're so excited for what you're going to do. And I just know big things are happening for this team. And so I ask that you would just enlarge our territory, increase the people that we can impact so we can have a greater impact for you. We love you so much. In your name we pray. Amen. I love you guys. I hope you have an awesome night. Thanks again.